are live. Live long and prosper.
Oh shit, I can't do it.
Can you
Oh
do
yeah,
that? You can do it. Yeah, there you go. You can do it with
live
both
long.
hands though.
Oh no, I don't think I can do it both. Oh shit, now I just look weird.
Can do it with your feet as well.
Oh my
No,
god,
I'm joking.
live
Can you
long
imagine?
and prosper.
I
Especially
got
there'll
my
be
foot
people
out.
out there who can probably do it. There's a
Oh,
YouTube out
trust me.
video out there who could
Trust
do it.
me.
Um, so what are we, Devaldo? This is the 14th of June.
14th of June, our time of recording. So the World Cup is kicked off. We have kicked off. The world is kicking off. you know, what else
Trust
should
me,
it kick?
more ways than one.
hmm
So Deval, we're recording this, and this is episode 387.
387. And it was only meant to be one. You thought I was on a rhyme, isn't it? But
I
nah,
thought, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
couldn't think quick enough.
The usual one that you
So
do is heaven. You use the
I know.
heaven.
Do you know what?
Mate,
I'm
how
done with that
many
now.
times have you used that one?
I know.
All right, okay. All right, listen, look, folks, stick around for the next
Oh
45,
man.
50 minutes
Mm.
because you know what today is? It's for 14th of June, but it's Disclosure Day, Deval.
It's disclosure day. Yeah,
This is
disclosure
when
day.
we disclose everything.
Mhm.
Stick around because we've got a review of Steven Spielberg's latest big budget movie, Hollywood movie. So stick around for that. But before we get into that, we've got obviously shout outs, movie news, new one streaming, some trailers, and we're going to speak about an anniversary corner. So let's take it away with the shout outs, Deval.
Yeah, got a couple of shout outs this week. Our first shout out goes to Michael Lugo, who congratulated us on YouTube for eight
Wicked.
years. So this was a few weeks ago. He just said, congratulations for 8 years of the show. He listens to the show. I don't know where you are in the world, Michael, but thank you for listening to the show and let us know
Thank
what you
you.
think. It means a lot to us. If you want to come on the show, Michael, reach out. Reach out, say, oh, I want to come on the show. Let us know what films you're into. We'll make it happen. So big shout out to Michael. Next shout out goes to Clean Clover Limited. Clean Clover Limited are an excellent cleaning company. If you want your stuff cleaned, your office building, your work building, your whatever it is, they can do a really great job.
Mm.
Yeah. So Clean
Who
Clover
doesn't
Limited.
need Deval? Who doesn't need a bit of cleaning? The pipes cleaned out once in a while.
The things need to be clean, don't they? Keep it clean and free. So they gave us a massive shout out on Instagram, and they've
Wicked.
seen Obsession recently, and their reflections on Obsession were really good. They really enjoyed it. They think
Mm.
Obsession is a great movie. Like everyone else, Obsession's done really, really great.
Yeah.
260 million in the box office so far. They think it's really, really good. They mentioned about Bear was 100% the villain. They felt sorry for the girl, for Nikki,
Mm.
and definitely they reckon that Obsession is going to win some really big awards, and they're
Hopefully it
looking
does.
really looking forward to Curry Barker's next film. So yeah,
Yeah.
massive shout out to you. Last shout out goes to Ciel Noir
Man.
3.
Three.
Ciel Noir 3, massive shout out to you. We're gonna get her on the show really, really
Yeah.
soon. Really,
100%.
really soon. And she's done well, she's always doing stuff, films and stuff like that. So I'm pretty sure next time we get her on, we can talk about some new films. So we're looking forward to getting her on. One quick shout out that I missed is Belated Reflections. They gave us a shout
Mm.
out on YouTube. Massive, massive fan of The Burrows.
Burrows.
Massive fan of The Burrows. So yeah, big shout out to you,
Wicked.
Belated Reflections. And that was a belated shout out, wasn't it? So
It was. Um, I remember someone, just talking about obsession, the point that you made.
Mm,
There's a scene in the movie, and this is a bit of a spoiler. There's a scene in the movie, there's a sex scene in the movie where
yeah,
she's kind of looking away.
yeah.
Someone else someone else mentioned that, and I was just like, yeah, man, and then it hit me. I was just like, yeah,
Mm.
it's such a
It's
horrific.
essay. It's essay,
It
and
is, man.
I only realised, and it's a great point you make. But I know I didn't realise this. But if you say like the R word, or if you say SA, the full word, you get blocked on YouTube or something. So that's why we're not
Oh,
saying it. It's not that we're trying to minimize it, but
yeah.
yeah, that is basically the R
SA.
word. Literally, yeah, R word, SA. Like you can't do that. She has not consented, and he has manipulated her in a
Mm.
magical kind of spiritual way. I don't know how to call it.
God.
And that film is so deep, and you look at it, it's so good. You pointed that out.
And
It's
go back, folks. We've got to move on, but go back the
mm,
last couple of episodes. We review Obsession. If you haven't seen the movie, go check it out and just get our take on it. And we hope you'll enjoy that. And remember, folks, Deval, just let everyone else know again, where can they like and subscribe and do all that stuff.
yeah. You can catch us on YouTube, catch us on Instagram, X, Facebook, everywhere basically. So we're everywhere where you should be. Put it that way.
Exactly. Um, I'm just waiting for this big ass aeroplane to go. What, something
Oh,
in the sky, man. A UFO in the sky or
for
something.
it's disclosure day, so
Exactly.
you never know.
You
You
never
never
know.
know.
Let's get into movie news now. If you are a fan of this show, you'll know that Deval and I are a fan of this other show that I'm just going to mention. It Welcome to Derry. Um, for me, Devaldo, I didn't have expectations for it. I was like, I'm gonna check it out because obviously, it great movie. You know, that whole Pennywise character is creepy as hell. And then what they did with it, Welcome to Derry, they took it back. They went back in
Mm,
time. They start speaking about kind of the origins of Pennywise. There's a bit of thing about racism in there as well because it's set in the 50s and 60s and the army barracks and all these different characters, kids get killed, kids get dealt
mm,
with.
mm, mm.
So I'm hoping, Devaldo, the movie news here is pretty good, right? What's happening?
Really, really good. So basically, it Welcome to Derry season two has been
Mm,
greenlit. It is in production as we
wicked.
speak. So I'm looking forward to what else they're going to bring to the It's universe. From what I understand, from what some of the whispers are saying, it could be a prequel to what we just saw. It could be.
Mm,
It might not be a continuation, but it could be a
right,
prequel.
because they can
As
go
we,
back
yeah, I think is it every 27 years or something? Every 27
27 years.
years
Yeah,
it resurfaces, and so it could be, yeah, whatever.
yeah, and but we don't know. Do we know how it took the form of the clown? Or we
Yeah,
do
it
know
kind of
that? I
showed
can't
it in
remember.
it showed it in It Welcome to Derry. So
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
a bit of a sort of flashback to when the clown character, the person, sort of came across the entity and
Mm,
why it took that form because it was able to use that to lure people and people liked clowns or it's like an
mm.
attraction kind of thing.
Really
So
creepy.
yeah, exactly. Very so Lovecraftian. It's like a bit of
Oh,
a sort of
it's an
cosmic
alien. It's an
horror.
yeah.
When you look at films like Smile as well, they're kind of like cosmic horror where it takes on the form of something else or someone else to attract and lure in the unsuspecting victim, and that is something that many
The
creatures do.
worst.
In look at creatures in the wild. Look
Mm.
at peacocks. Peacocks do something to
Yeah, to
show
attract
themselves
people.
when they maybe, I don't know, if they're trying to mate or
Venus
something. Look
flytrap.
at rattlesnakes trying to warn people, or whatever it might be. Animals do things to try and either warn or attract people. So,
Mm.
mm, interesting stuff.
Scary shit. All right, okay, let's move on. I want to speak about this one. So Blumhouse and James Wan. I reckon that is a great kind of partnership that they've got going on over there. James Wan, obviously behind massive, massive $1 billion movies. Fast and the Furious. We've got the what were the not the
The
uh,
Conjuring.
Conjuring universe. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, man! So all these kind of like big movies. Even most recently, Devaldo, we've had Backrooms. He's been,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
James
Involved
Wan
with
has
that.
been behind that as well.
Mm.
But tell us about this one because this is now we're getting into kind of like classic horror story, franchise here. Big kind of money spinner for movie studios. This one. So tell us about this collaboration.
Yeah, so massive collaboration for this one. This one is going to look at the Blair Witch Project. The Blair Witch
Mm,
Project, they are talking about James Wan and Blumhouse doing a reboot. The Blair Witch Project came out in 1999, the first iteration of that. We saw another one in 2016, but that film, 1999, was made on a shoestring budget. When we're talking about films like Backrooms and talking about especially Obsession being
mm,
made for 750,000 dollars, and grossing currently as we speak $260 million. Blair Witch Project was made for $60,000.
It's mad.
$60,000 in 1999. Just for inflation, probably going to be about 100,000
Mm.
possibly. But for that to gross then over $200 million, I think that is the Guinness Book of Records highest grossing film according to the amount it took to make.
That's a
But
unicorn. That's
it's a
that's what you want,
unicorn.
man.
Yeah, you can't even wish for that. But I guess obsession kind of has. But either way, the news on this one is that the reboot is happening, but not with the blessing of the original cast. There's been
Oh,
some
interesting.
rumblings about how the original cast, their likeness and so on, is going to be used, and they're not being fairly compensated, from what I understand. So there's some things
Money.
that, yeah, money, 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 and have the rights to films and who can do this and do that. The 2016 version was made for $5 million. It did
Mm.
gross around, I think it was about 45 million or $40 million. So it did make a lot of money according to
Yeah,
the amount that it cost to make, but it didn't do as well as obviously 200 million.
yeah.
So they're
Nothing
hoping
compared
that
to the original.
it's like it's a Sinead O'Connor, man. Nothing compares.
It is.
Do you know what I mean? So it depends on how this one is. Blumhouse, James Wan know what they're doing, but if they don't
Mm.
have the blessing and the input from the original sort of people,
And
then
will audience members who are kind of loyal to the original, will they be like, oh, I'm not going to watch it because the original guys aren't involved, or will this cater to a whole new audience member who weren't even born when
that's
the
yeah.
when the first one came out?
Do you know what else wasn't born? Social media. How did they
Exactly.
market it? Then they with no marketing budget. Yeah,
No,
that film grossed 250 odd million. No marketing budget, no internet, no social media. Now we get all of that. So that's how
I
that
know.
can sometimes drive a film. That was all word
Mhm.
of mouth, mate.
I
That was all
know.
word of mouth.
It's crazy. And the trailer was like, I remember watching the
Mm,
trailer, and all like me and my friends and everyone at that time were thinking, shit, this is real. This is some
there
people
you
went
go.
into the woods,
Yeah,
they disappeared, and
yeah,
now this is the found
yeah,
footage. And that it was just classic movie
yeah,
making magic there.
yeah.
All right, so yeah, so let's look, folks. We'll obviously bring more news on that. Like, it Welcome to Derry. We'll watch it and we'll review it. And when the Blair Witch movie does come out, we'll watch it as well, and we'll kind of keep you abreast and all that. But let's get on to new on streaming now. Devout, I'm hearing good things about this. So this is from Apple. Apple is having a bit of a moment because there's a couple of things on Apple. I've been watching Your Friends and Neighbors. There's another program that I've been watching which was called Maximum Pleasure Guaranteed.
Oh, okay.
I've seen a few episodes of that. There's another one called Widow's Bay, which everyone's talking about. It's kind of like a horror. It's kind of like a
Mm,
Stephen King. Yeah, Stephen King kind of inspired horror-y, gothic-y kind of thing. A lot of people talking about that one. But this one, Kate Fair, man, great cast. We know the story. You and I know the story, but just kind of break it down for maybe audience members who don't know what this story is about.
yeah, this is a remake of a classic, Cape Fear from 1991, starring Robert De Niro. Also had Nick Nolte and Jessica Lange. Robert De Niro was an interesting character who felt he was basically done wrong from Nick Nolte, who was a lawyer.
Yeah,
And he basically came out of prison. He felt like he was wrongly put in prison, came out of prison, and he wanted revenge on the people that he felt done him wrong, which included Nick Nolte. So he embarked on a campaign of fear, terror, stalking, all that sort of thing for as long as it could before the suspects, or not suspects, sorry, the victims were
yeah.
scared shitless, and then he went to sort of I guess kill them. And this one basically is a reboot from that. So in this one, we have a updated cast. We have Javier Bardem, who's playing the
Yep.
sort of Robert De Niro character. We have Amy Adams, who's playing the. I guess Patrick Wilson is. I think he's the. I haven't seen it yet, so I'm not sure. Sometimes they swap things around. I'm not sure if
Yeah.
Amy Adams is going to be the lawyer or Patrick Wilson is going to be the lawyer. But
Hmm.
they're a family. They're husband and wife, and they're now being basically
Terrorized.
terrorized by Javier Bardem, who we've seen he's able to terrorize well. He can. We
He
saw
could do
No
it.
Country for Old Men, was it?
And he was crazy in that. The way he
Yeah,
was a
subtle.
he was like a assassin in that one, and the way
Yeah,
he would just
yeah.
do it was just crazy.
Mm.
Um, and you know what? Interestingly, I mean, for the film geeks out there, that that Robert De Niro one was a remake of the one from 1950s. So this one goes back
There we go.
even a while. But
Yeah.
I mean, what?
It's a
Yeah,
bit
I
like
mean,
it, isn't it? It's like every 28 years or 27
they
years,
start
this thing comes back.
the things that come back, and you know, Apple they were onto something. Did you ever watch Presumed Innocent with Jake Gyllenhaal?
Yes, very good.
Really
Yeah,
good,
yeah.
really good. And that was a remake of a movie which stars Harrison Ford.
Is
From Yeah,
it?
so that was a remake. So
What's you and
Same
your
same
classical
character.
film knowledge?
That
That's why they
that
call him teacher. Ah, he's
Wow,
teaching today.
wow, come on, man. Um, so don't you reckon, Deval, like Apple, they're doing something right? They're going back. They're looking at these kind of classic stories. They're remaking them, rebooting them.
Mm.
So yeah, I mean, are you gonna watch this? I want to watch this.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it. I just haven't had time to yet, but this is on my watch list for sure.
Yeah, 100%. All right, okay. The other thing, which is, I mean, as the World Cup is on, Netflix, put this kind of this show, this series called Mexico in 1986. Now, the reason why that year is really famous or important is because that was the year of the famous year where Argentina won the World Cup in Mexico. The
Mm.
hand of God, the whole kind of Maradona taking apart the England team, which was mad. Devout. I've got the documentary. It's called
Is it?
Hero. It's called the documentary called Hero, and it's a wicked documentary. But this goes behind the scenes, like obviously fictionalizing how Mexico the actual
Mm.
got to host that World Cup. So yeah, I want to watch this. 100%, I want to watch this.
Yeah, and in Mexico, from what I just heard the other day, is the only country that's they've hosted the World Cup the most times. So
Mm,
now, as their co-host with America and Canada, this is the third time they're hosting the
yeah,
FIFA World Cup. So, yeah, this show really goes into the sort of the back end
corruption.
of corruption, all the stuff behind the scenes, off the pitch. How
Mm,
do countries get to host a World Cup?
World
Is
Cup.
it just putting a bid in? There's way more to it than that. There's way
Mate,
more palms that need to be
imagine, oh yeah,
greased.
under the table deals.
Mm.
Imagine the millions, man, that are just going through America. And interestingly, like they've done America, they've done Canada and Mexico. The next World Cup, they're doing Portugal, Spain, and Morocco.
Look at that. And another one, I think there's going to be one where they're also going to go to, uh,
Uruguay,
yes,
Paraguay, and Argentina.
yes, yes, yes. So all around the world, and yeah, it's crazy.
So go check it out. Yeah, that's on Netflix and stars Diego Luna. I mean, Diego Luna, he's a
Mm.
gangster. Obviously, Andor, and he's done other loads of other great stuff as well. So yeah, if you're interested in that, go check it out. Let's do trailers. And yeah, so I saw this trailer, Devout, and The Social Network was this movie that came out a while ago now. It's probably been like what, about 15, 20 years, is it, Deval?
2010. So yeah, 16 years ago. Yeah.
16 years ago. And that movie had a lot of buzz. Aaron Sorkin, David Fincher, you know,
Mm.
kind of writing and directing and talking about the whole birth of Facebook, how that happened, the backstabbing, the kind of the deals and, the people behind the scenes. And this one picks up years later. And interestingly, Devaldo, they didn't go with Jesse Eisenberg.
I wonder why. I
Good
wonder
question.
why.
They've gone for Jeremy Strong, and we've seen Jeremy Strong in Obsession. Sorry, not
Mm.
Obsession, Succession.
Succession.
Um, yeah, Succession. He was in the Donald Trump movie as well very recently. So he's kind of got he's getting kind of quite famous, and he's a good actor and everything. But there, from the trailer, what did you make of it? I mean, it's not directed by David Fincher. Clearly, you can tell.
No, this one's going to be directed by one of the names you just mentioned, Aaron Sorkin,
Oh,
and
okay.
so he's directing this, and also I think co-wrote it as well. And this one it basically is about uh, trying to fight against social media companies that they believe are responsible for some, deplorable, security measures that, basically open the door to people being abused and all kinds of things
Bloody hell.
online, online risk, online safety. Jesse Eisenberg actually said he wasn't going to come back for this one because this story basically depicts Zuckerberg as basically all negative, and
Oh,
he didn't want to come across that way. So maybe he's met Zuckerberg in real life. Maybe he feels like he owes.
they're
I
buddies.
don't know, but he didn't want to do it because in this one, Zuckerberg is depicted as a bit of a monster, I
Mm.
believe. And I think Jeremy Strong kind of encapsulates that. He's got a bit of a vacant, blank sort of
Yeah.
incel kind of look sometimes, like he's gonna blow someone up. We
Yeah.
saw that
Yeah.
when he was with the Winter Soldier. What was that film where he was Trump recently? There's a film that came out that's really
Yeah.
good where
The deal.
uh,
Was it the deal?
Sebastian Stan was,
And
I can't remember the name of the
Trump,
film. Yeah, he played
his
Sebastian Stan
advisor.
played. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so he's really good. So yeah, this
Mm.
this film looks interesting. I probably will see it
Yeah.
when it comes out. It's coming out in October
October
2026.
time, and
Yeah,
and it's called The Social Reckoning. So
yeah,
what basically the what they're trying to say is like, okay, you've had your social media, we've had Twitter, Facebook,
yeah,
and what's been the outcome of that? Like, how much good has that done
yeah.
after all these years? So go check it out. Now, this next one, we got to speak about this. Huge fans of this show. This is Lioness season 3. For me, this is probably Paramount Plus's best show for me, man. Like, this is really, really good. Um, Zoe Saldana, you've got Nicole Kidman, you've got God, Morgan
Was that?
Freeman.
Oh, I thought I misheard you for a second. I thought, huh?
you've got you've got this great. Not only Divaldo have you got this great cast,
Oh my
but
gosh.
the edge of your seat action. They got the team.
Mm.
You know that secret, the undercover team that just goes into these situations,
It's
man.
Taylor Sheridan. Taylor Sheridan he owns Paramount. Like, when I say owns, he's got all these shows on Paramount, all these
I
like
know
cowboyish kind of
spin-offs
shows and
going
all
on.
kinds of stuff. And also he wrote Sicario, so
Yes,
gangster stuff. Yeah, he's involved with that.
there you
So
go.
the Lioness is a must. If you I would Paramount Plus is worth just for having
I
Lioness.
know, I know, I know. All I can say is,
Simple
look,
as
if you
that.
value great, great shows, just go out and watch this if you haven't seen it.
Mm,
Um, that's all I'm going to say on that one. Now, Devada, I want to quickly mention this one. Um, this one came up, and I was like, I didn't even know about this movie. Um, this stars Brad Pitt. Brad
mm.
Pitt and his dog, or a dog, and it's directed by David Ayer. And David Ayer, man, he's done Fury. He's done. Didn't he do one of the Suicide Squad
Yeah, the
movies?
first one,
He done
Suicide Squad. Yeah, he done that one.
Night's Watch. Do you remember? No,
Mm,
sorry, End
yeah.
of Watch. Do you remember that
Mm,
police movie? Really great movie with Jake Gyllenhaal and Michael Pena. And this one, Heart of Beast, Brad Pitt, he plays a ex-marine or ex-soldier, and he's got a lot of experience, and he's got this combat K9, this Alsatian dog who's been with him on all these missions in Afghanistan,
yeah.
tours of duties wherever and everything. And they're out in the wilderness in Alaska. The plane crashes down in Alaska, and they're in survival mode. And they're not fighting a terrorist, they're not fighting kind of like an enemy combatant. They are fighting, Devaldo, the wilderness,
Hmm.
nature,
Mother Nature.
Mother
That's a
Nature
fight very few can
win.
win.
Absolutely. So the
Mm,
so in the trailer you get to see all these kind of like crazy things going on with the dog saving him, he's saving the
mm.
dog. They've he's got to get across Alaska one side to the other. Action packed. Brad Pitt doing. I think this is maybe kind of like a different phase of his career now.
Mm. He's like
He's done.
62,
Yeah.
I think.
You
Yeah,
know.
this was primarily filmed in New Zealand. So very, very, we've seen it from Lord of the Rings and other films that
Which we just watched recently.
yeah, the landscape is just, it can be unforgiving and beautiful. And you're right,
Mm.
this is a stage of his career where he's maybe doing different things. This is actually a film Ciel Noir 3 actually recommended as well because she's a dog person and she likes
Mm,
Brad Pitt. She loves movies, actress herself. So I think she can sort of, I guess really connect to this sort of character. What would you do in a situation where,
mm,
you are at your sort of, you have to trust all your natural instincts, and who better to trust natural instincts with than a dog whose
my God,
the ability to smell is like what 50 times better than ours, and things
absolutely.
like that. So
There's a bit.
yeah.
There's a bit in the trailer where not giving anything away because it's in the trailer. There's a bit where obviously wolves. They've got wolves over
Mm,
there, and they're
mm,
like hungry wolves. And then I'm just like, shit. There's Brad Pitt. He's got a spare. He's trying to spike him, and he's just like, So yeah, interesting stuff. So we'll see where this goes. And David Ayer obviously, makes interesting action-packed movies. So it'll be
mm.
interesting to see where this one leads off. So those are your trailers, folks. Go check them out. And remember, just like Deval mentioned, if you do write a comment, leave a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcast. That helps us with the algorithms, so we get more people listening to the show. Let's do anniversary corner now. We've plucked this one because it ties into the main movie that we're going to be speaking about, which is Disclosure Day. Now, this movie, it's been a while, Devaldo. When was the last time you saw this?
I saw this last about 3 years ago, I think.
I probably saw this about 6 years ago, 7 years ago.
Okay.
And this is Arrival, but it's one of those movies where you watch it the first time round and it becomes an instant classic movie. Deval, we
Mm.
still speak about this movie.
Still, I've just gone to IMDb and I've rated it 9 out of 10.
Oh,
And I rarely rate a film 9 out of 10. But
there you
Arrival for
go.
me is probably one of the most intelligent alien contact films for me
Mm,
ever made. Directed by Denis Villeneuve, Sicario. You'll notice in our programs, we don't do this by accident. Some of our films link. We mentioned Sicario before, Taylor Sheridan, Lioness, and stuff like that. Amy Adams, isn't she also in
fair.
Cape Fear as well? So this is not by accident. People think, oh, they just put the things on there
We're
randomly.
engineers. We
Everything's
engineered this
connected.
thing. Absolutely,
Exactly.
man. It is. It is.
but
Everything is connected. Go on.
but now this film, like the way the aliens, the way they, first of all, the way they look is for me, because aliens shouldn't always have a head, two arms, legs. Why should they look like us? They're
I know.
alien, and they really thought about how the aliens should look and represent themselves in this film. It seems like they're even floating around in the spaceships. They're not even walking. They're like floating around in the mist. They look like octopus,
Mm.
and octopus are almost alien to us. Like
And
the
they're
depths
intelligent.
at which they can intelligent, the way their limbs are so like they've got 8 limbs and I think they've got 2 brains or something. I don't know. It's just
Mm.
weird, but and also the way that the communication.
Oh,
Arrival is all about communication. How do you communicate with an alien species? You could
how do you know?
English.
How do you learn their language or whatever?
Thank you.
And that it was that whole thing was a revelation when I watched
Oh,
this,
this film.
and I was like, shit, man, it was really really great. And don't you reckon, Divaldo, in the obviously you got within sci-fi,
Mm,
you've got the alien genre, alien contact genre, and
mm,
you
mm,
mentioned like Contact. There is the movie
mm.
Contact from
Oh,
1997, which is another great
oh,
movie.
one of my favorites.
It
Another
is, isn't
nine
it,
out of
Deval?
ten. Yeah,
Isn't it about?
yeah.
I'm so glad. Yeah. So look, you've got movies like Arrival, you've got Contact, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Like these,
Mm.
you've got all these kind of movies that share similarities and everything. But you're talking about Arrival and Contact being the kind of the high bar. So if you haven't seen Arrival, I recommend you. It must be on Netflix, right, Deval?
It was no, it was it was on
Paramount? Oh,
Amazon when I last watched it.
Amazon.
I'm not sure where
Okay.
it is now, but yeah,
It'll be out there.
yeah.
So if you're a sci-fi geek, you've probably already seen it. If you're not a sci-fi geek, we highly recommend that movie. And that leads us, Devaldo. Let's get into Disclosure Day. Now, I mentioned um, Close Encounters of the Third Kind because that movie is directed by Steven Spielberg, and here we are yet again, 2026, and Steven Spielberg is back and he's doing another Alien movie. He's no stranger to Alien movies. Close Encounters of the Third Kind, War of the Worlds, AI. Well, AI, no, um, no, he didn't
Yeah, it
have
was
any
linked
Alien.
towards the end. Towards the end,
Yeah,
there was a bit of a link to aliens. Yeah.
yeah. So I think I read
Indiana
somewhere.
Jones, Crystal Skull. Was that him?
Oh, yes,
Man
Alien.
loves an alien, you know.
Exactly. And I think I read somewhere along the line, his belief in that happened when he was a young child. Some like
Mm,
he was influenced by his dad or someone, and then he started to kind of have this idea, and he believes that there are other worlds, there are other species out there. We just haven't kind of obviously
mm.
counted them just yet. Or no, no, sorry, I rephrase that. He believes we have encountered them, or they've been here, but we just
Ah.
haven't. You know,
But
it's not in. It's not hasn't been disclosed yet.
that kind of links into a lot of theoretical physicists and scientists actually also believe that, you know, and people talk about, like, you know, have you heard of the Fermi paradox?
Yes, Fermi
The
paradox
Fermi paradox is the belief that with all the sort of universe, all the
is.
galaxies, all the supposed planets out there and stuff,
Mm,
life should exist, but why
yes.
hasn't life
Why
contacted
hasn't it
us? Why
happened?
haven't we come in
Why don't
contact
we
with
have it?
life?
Yeah.
And then there's the Drake equation. Have you heard of the Drake equation?
No.
The Drake
Drop
equation
it.
is a mad thing. I think it was someone called Frank Drake, I think it was, and he believed that there's an actual equation that you can do, where you it's on a board. I can't do it, but there's about 8 different parts of the equation. The first part is the amount of the average rate of star creation, I believe, and then the amount of stars that are out there that have planets around them. And then after that, it's the amount of planets around the star that can exist within the habitable zone of the star, which is the part of
Wow.
the star where, you know, maybe water can exist and stuff like that. And then the amount of planets that are within the habitable zone that have the ingredients there that are apparent that can create life. And then after that, the amount of, you know, it keeps on going from there. And there's 8 different
Wow.
things that have to happen before a planet like Earth, not to say that other planets could exist that are not
Yep.
like Earth that could have life, but they're thinking from Frank Drake was thinking from our perspective. And from that equation, in this in the Milky Way galaxy alone, there should be
Some
millions of
of
planets that can have life. So the Drake equation alone says life should exist out there.
and it just makes me think life finds a way. Why,
So
devout? I love it. I'm mind blown. And
mm,
so here we are, Steven Spielberg. Coming back, and remember, this guy has made so many classic movies. Um, Saving Private Ryan, flipping the Goonies. He's been behind, obviously, Indiana Jones and the Goonies and things like that. And recently,
mm,
I haven't seen some of his recent stuff, Devaldo.
me too. He did a film with Tom Hanks maybe about 6 years ago or so, I believe. Some I don't know, and he also did the what was that film with the dancing?
Oh, the
Da,
West Side
da,
Story.
da, yeah.
Yeah, I know that.
When I think about it, I just think of da, da,
Please,
da.
please watch this. Please just watch the way Deval's moving his arms.
Yeah,
You're right. He did.
I
He's
don't
done.
know.
So listen, look. I mean, look. He's 80 years old. He's got decades
Is
and
it
decades of
okay?
experience. He can do action. I still believe, for me, like he can go obviously do amazing movies like Saving Private Ryan, but then he can come up with duds like Kingdom Skull, Indiana Jones and everyone's got like one of those movies in their back catalog, right? Who am I to
Mm,
say anything? I've got none in my back catalog. I wish I had Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull in my back catalog. So great film director, and and Jurassic Park.
of course, yeah,
Ronaldo. That kickstarted that whole flipping franchise, and
yeah,
that was Steven Spielberg.
yeah.
And in this movie, he's returned back to the kind of the aliens, that we're not alone, that whole kind of genre. And he's brought together great cast: Emily Blunt, Coleman Domingo, Josh O'Connor, who we've seen before, um, Colin Firth, British actor, and and he's tried to put together this story about um, where we live in a world where aliens exist,
Mm,
and someone. is going to now disclose that to the whole world. And the question is, what would that do to society? Deval, knowing what you know in
Mm.
2026 and knowing what I know, what would happen to the society if this were to happen? There'd be like flipping chaos, man.
There'll be chaos if people thought there was no toilet. Well, you know, we see what happens with that. So I can imagine if
Literally,
people
right?
thought there were aliens. But I mean, me personally, I believe there are there
Yeah,
aliens,
yeah,
and whether
me
they
too.
have contacted us or not, I don't know. Whether they would want to, looking at us, if I was an alien, I'm
No,
swiping
stay away.
left. Yeah,
Yeah, just
I'm not going anywhere near us. Do you know what I mean? It's like so.
I
I
love
just, I
you.
mean, but yeah, I think you're right. This sort of thing will put the world in chaos. Not just from. I mean, you look at spiritual, like
What would happen to religion, man?
religion, exactly, and all those things that hold societies together, all the glue, all the fear factor, the unknown, all the things that keep us. Well, I say hold us together. We're kind of barely holding together, but you know what I mean. And
Mm,
this is another layer of uncertainty that the government just wouldn't want.
yeah,
So yeah, I think
yeah.
that would be a crazy thing, but I think sometimes it needs to be done because it
All
might
right,
actually bring us together. We might actually see ourselves as one rather than so
absolutely.
different.
That's a good point. You know what? I love that. You know what?
Mm,
That's hope. So Devout, I want you to sum up the movie. Give a kind of like a bit of a synopsis, and then let's get into kind of what we thought about it, and I'll tell you exactly what
okay.
I thought about it.
I'll do a quick synopsis. So, like you mentioned, so the main sort of one of the main people in the films, Emily Blunt, along with Josh O'Connor's character. Emily Blunt is a news kind of weather person. Josh O'Connor is a hacker, or was a hacker, great with IT. Found out that he went to prison. They took him out of prison because he was really good at IT, which sometimes happen. Hackers get hired by
They get hired
tech
by government.
companies, which
Yeah,
is what happened here. And he basically stole some really, really classified information, which obviously was the alien information. And he wants to disclose it to the whole world, along with the help of Coleman Domingo and other ex-employees that have left that company. So now it's a bit of a chase. The Colin Firth, the sort of head honcho of that tech company, is chasing Josh O'Connor and his girlfriend Eve Hewson, and basically they want to basically disclose it. Emily Blunt starts to reveal some part of her that she didn't know existed. She's able to speak any language. She's able to look at someone and just basically know what they're thinking, know
yeah.
about their past and stuff like that. Bit of, I don't know if it's telekinesis or what. So it seems like they've got some gifts in them. Josh O'Connor, he's able to
He's like a
understand,
maths.
yeah, universal language of maths at a sort of a mad degree that no one
Mm,
else can do. So they're basically communicators of some part, and they serve a bigger picture in this movie, but we don't understand that until later on. But the sort of the short end of it is these two characters are pivotal in bringing together the disclosure ingredients. Colin Firth is trying to hunt them down because the government wants to control it, as the
mm,
government always does. So
yeah,
most of the movie is a bit of a chase,
it is.
chasing these characters, try and find them, stop them from telling secrets that the world isn't ready for. And yeah, it's mainly a chase, to be honest.
Mm,
Disclosure doesn't really happen until the end.
yeah, and then even then we'll get to that in a bit in a second. All right, so great synopsis by the way, and that's kind of breaking it down. Um,
Mm,
there's a couple of bits in the movie where I thought, you know what, this is great. There's a scene in the with a train, and I think it might probably
okay.
be in the trailer. There's a train
Yeah,
thing,
yeah, yeah.
like they're being chased down by
Mm,
one of the the workers from that company. He's kind of like the security of that company. He's like
yeah,
chasing them down, rams the car, and there's kind of like a train coming along, and the train gets stuck the car gets stuck under the train, so the
yeah.
train is practically just dragging it along. And I mean, okay, there's a couple of things. So on one part of me, I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, like Steven Spielberg, he can do these big budget set scenes and everything, and that's riveting and that's all great and everything. And then on the flip side of that, I'm like, okay, what, where are we going with this? Like, what are we doing? And just like you said, it was just, I found it more of that chase. I found it more of the chase, like they're chasing them. They've got some information. They're going to disclose it, and they're going to disclose that information.
Mm,
I've thought the CGI was really dodgy
mm-hmm,
at some points. There's
mm,
bits in the movie where the animals just stop
mm,
and they, they get attracted to Josh O'Connor and Emily Blunt's character, and they
mm,
basically do something weird and that activates them, and then they run off. And I'm like, you've just spent like $200 million, and the CGI was just like, I just thought, okay, they could have touched that up a little bit. um I was expecting a bit more about it. If I'm
mm.
being totally honest, by the
Oh
end of
yeah,
the movie, I thought, okay, and what?
yeah. It was a bit of a anti-climax. I think
It
obviously the way
was.
it ended, don't want to spoil it too much, but for me, I didn't really like this film that much. I
I
was
know.
I was let down by the film. I expected the disclosure to be earlier and then
Mm,
more spillover from that, which didn't
yeah.
happen. But it is what it is. But the whole some of the characters for me was just silly. Right, some of the things were silly. The chases were silly. This tech company who are chasing them for information that is so important. They were a
Yeah.
bunch of buffoons. All these guys running around can't catch the guy.
I
Yeah,
know.
can't catch him. There's a scene where they're in a cabin, like in a field.
Oh,
They come and they find
see him.
the cabin, and my man comes to he sees all the cars because he's on a field somewhere. They come
Mm.
to the cabin, so he arrives at the cabin, sees all the cars surrounding it,
And
and
they
he's
don't see him
standing
running.
there next to a fence, which isn't. When I say a fence, I'm using the word loosely. It's like bit of wood, a bit of wood,
A space, and
and
then
there's a
another
space
bit,
in
isn't it?
between, and
Because so you can
there's
see.
bushes that are not really bushes, but you can see. Everyone can see, and my man's just like this, like Scooby Doo,
It's just like, and he
and
jumps
no
in
one
the
can see
car.
him, and he
I
runs
know.
around. No,
About. I was, I
it's
was
just a
ready to
cartoon.
throw something at the screen. I was like, no, in 2026, Devout,
You
you
got to
know
be
what?
better
That
than
was
that.
ET. That was the time of ET, like what the kids in ET would do,
It's
like,
just a
or
bit.
in Stranger Things, or something like
Yeah,
that. And like,
it's
it was ridiculous.
there's people they couldn't. And he got into one of their cars, drove around. They couldn't catch him, couldn't stop him. Like it's just it was too. It's outdated. I think is the word I'm looking for. It's
Y- I,
outdated, and that's something that
I
maybe
totally
is a
agree.
Spielberg thing. That obviously he's not cussing him as a director, but
No.
his catalog speaks for itself. But some of the things that happen in this film are outdated and stupid and just don't really work anymore. You got to come better than that.
Oh man, if
You
you're
got to come better than
spending,
that.
if you're Steven Spielberg and you've made like these heartfelt movies and these really great
Mm.
action movies before and everything like that, you're bringing, and Devout, I want to just speak about like the aliens.
Oh.
I mean,
There was a
by the
scene where
end,
I laughed out loud in the cinema.
I
There's a
know,
okay. I'm gonna a bit of a spoiler.
do
Well, it's not
it.
a spoiler, a bit of it, but they're looking at this during the disclosure. They look at different files. They look at alien videos,
Oh,
government, all the stuff they were hiding. There was a scene where Nixon brings his pal
oh.
to see aliens, whatever. There's another scene where uh, I just
And
laughed
aliens crash
randomly.
landed.
Yeah, and it's like they're walking with aliens to a limousine with umbrellas,
I
and
know.
I was just
They're
like,
as if they're kids.
"What?"
What? It's like as if they're children. They're
Well,
like
the
they're
way
little
the aliens are
babies.
walking, like the CG was shit, but it's just the way they're walking with the umbrellas to a limousine or something, a car. I'm like,
It's
what's
like,
going
oh
on here?
hey,
What am I
we're going that
watching?
way. Like, oh
What am I
no. It's
watching?
like
It's like, what is
it,
going on? It's just,
it's so not of right now, like, and you think about it, Divider, we've seen movies like Contact, we've seen Arrival, we've
thank
seen
you.
kind of like, these really
Smart
interesting
films. Yeah.
smart movies. In Contact they speak about religion,
Mm,
and like, what does it mean about kind of humanity and what happens if
mm,
there isn't
mm,
aliens out there, and they kind of mention a bit about religion over here and everything, but in the
mm,
end I was left, it was more like
yeah.
a deflated day, like
And
seriously for me. Go
Deflation
on.
Day. This
I was
film as
like,
well. I think there is the film starts off with the back because they work in a newsroom, and
mm,
there's reports of like a possible war coming out. There's
yeah.
Russia being spoken about. There's Korea or North Korea. I think I'm not sure. And they're speaking about things being really like on the brink, almost like the Cuban Missile Crisis kind of level of on the brink of spilling out.
Yeah.
So that's the backdrop of what's happening in the world. And I think maybe these aliens maybe want to stop us in our tracks because they want to show us that there's a bit more to the world and maybe stop the
Mm.
world, stop the war from happening. But a lot of that backdrop, I think, got missed because the chase took
Totally.
up all the film. There was a part in the film where uh, what's her name? Emily Blunt's fella, who's Kurt Russell's son,
Oh, Kurt
Wyatt
Russell's one,
Russell.
yeah.
He was a bit of a funny character, but
He was
they
an
go to
idiot.
they go to a petrol station, and the petrol station, everyone's looting it. Everyone's like getting food. I'm thinking, why are they doing that?
Mm.
And they're doing it because okay, disclosure hasn't happened yet. Is it because of this war that we heard about at the start of the film that they haven't really
Yeah.
touched on yet? Like there's mayhem happening in that scene, but we don't know why. Which
Do
I
you know
think
what? That
something's
might be
missing.
from, I
Something's
think that
missing
might
in
have,
the film.
they filmed maybe something and then chucked that in
Thank
there
you,
and it doesn't,
thank you.
it's
Doesn't make
disjointed.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of that, and just some of the silly scenes that were meant to be funny, where she throws her phone out the window, tries to run it over,
Oh my
the
God.
car doesn't run it
And then he
over.
misses it.
It's just it's meant to be funny, but it's and all this time,
Not.
remember they've just escaped. There's a scene where they're in the hospital. The so-called FBI come to get them, but they're not the FBI. They're the tech company. Emily Blunt and Wyatt Russell run out the back. There's a back
Oh,
door that they're not guarding. They
that
run out the
outro.
back. They get in their car, and this scene happens where they're spending a good, I'll say, 3 minutes, which is a long time when you're on the run.
And when you're
three
trying to get
minutes
away,
trying to run over their phone because they keep missing it with the wheels. And these tech people, FBI, they're supposed to be,
they're still
are
out there.
nowhere to be found. No
I
one's
know.
even chasing them.
I know.
They're in the
You know,
car park, like everyone's around.
the glaring hole for me though, Deval, was at the end of the movie. Why? All right, okay. In all honesty, in this day and age, if
Mm.
you're part of the government and you've got this, if you do not categorically want the secret to be revealed, and they're
Kill him.
standing around.
Yeah,
Get a sniper and just kill them. Like what? They're just sitting there, standing around, literally
yeah,
sitting there, waiting for it to unfold.
yeah.
Would that ever happen? No
Never,
frigging
never.
way.
Only one person seems to have any sense in this film. That was their lead henchman,
The
who
henchman, the
seemed to be the
security
only
guy.
one. Was like,
He's like,
what
"What are
you,
you gonna
what
do?"
you, yeah, what you got? What you got? He's the only one that like he was still whatless, but
Yeah.
everyone else, I don't know.
And
This
then they all
this
just walked off.
film, yeah, just after all these, it's true. Colin Firth just sat down.
Sat down, and then he
Everyone else
just
just
walked
walked
off.
off.
It was so annoying,
It's
Devaldo.
like a
I was
cartoon.
like,
Cartoons end that way. Cartoons end that way. It's
it
just
was it was so silly, and they think the way that they ended it that they're gonna get a sequel. Oh my, what
nah,
is it?
nah,
Oh man,
nah. And from what I understand, the way it ends, and there's something that Emily Blunt says that sort of ends, and then the credits happen. I've heard that that's maybe people think anyway that that's a message to humanity
mm,
that we are not
wake up, yeah.
basically listening to each other and stuff like that, and that's why the film ended that way. And also heard some people say that this film, and the reason why Steven Spielberg got this film is because he's the
Mm,
biggest name in movies, and this film is there to get us ready for a supposed disclosure day. Because you probably noticed that over the years recently,
the
the government,
the
the US
Pentagon
government,
is,
yeah,
yeah,
they've been releasing little bits and bobs of, they call them UAPs now,
yeah. They're calling UAPs.
unidentified aerial
Real
phenomenon. That's the
That's
new
it.
name of them. So they've been releasing lots of that recently, and so maybe they're getting ready to tell us something that eventually is not going to be a big blow because we've all seen the film.
Oh man,
We've all seen the film, so we're going to be okay. We've all
Deval,
seen it. Everyone's seen it.
I like I said before. If you like War of the Worlds, I enjoyed that more. I enjoyed Close Encounters of the Third Kind more,
Yeah,
and that movie was made in 1977.
yeah, 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 yeah. It
Like
was
like
touching. He done the job. He done the job. Yeah.
exactly. So for me, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, this is Steven Spielberg's best movie in like 20
Who's
years." I'm like,
rubbish? They were
"Devil,
paid to say that.
man!"
Rubbish.
It's like, come
Rubbish.
on, come
Rubbish.
on.
He hasn't. Actually, in my opinion, he hasn't actually done a really good film for a long time.
Yeah,
Saving Private Ryan or Minority Report.
Minority
Trying to
Report,
think
you
of
could
what
say.
else. Trying to think of what
Catch Me
else
If You
in the
Can.
2000s. Yes, Yeah, good film. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like
yeah.
something like that. But this movie for me, man, it was
Mm,
such a big letdown. And as the credits rolled, I sat there, I gave it a few minutes, and I
mm.
looked around, and I was just like, everyone was just like rushing out because
Thank you.
people were just like,
And
this is
now,
ridiculous.
tell us what your experience was like watching Obsession.
Oh,
I mean, when the
obsession.
camera, when the titles rolled, what was the difference?
People were like basically narrating back the
Yeah,
dialogue from the movie.
debrief,
That's how
people
much,
sticking
yeah.
around, talking about it as they leave, and
And
that
going,
cost a
"Oh, do you remember that
fraction of
bit? Do you
this.
remember that bit?" And like, look, this. So, for me, Devaldo, I have to say, I was hoping that this was going to be a
Mm,
really decent movie,
mm.
but in the end, it's just honestly, like I said before, man, it's just like
Yeah,
failed for me.
it wasn't good. Same. I didn't really. I felt. Yeah, just Steven Spielberg, man. It's a shame. Sometimes, you got to leave the films before the films leave you.
Oh man, there you
So
go. And there's other
yeah,
contact movies yet to be made, and I just think maybe leave it to kind of the other
mm,
guys.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
And that's it for me, man. That's all I got on that one.
Same. Yeah. Just leave it alone now. On to new stuff. I don't know what's coming out next week. I wonder.
We said there was one big movie, the one that we said that we were going to have a look at.
June. Let me see. June. What's going to come out next? Oh, Supergirl's on the 26th of June.
That's it. There you
Toy
go.
Stories the 19th of June, but I'm not going to watch that. I'll be honest, I'm not going to watch it.
Yeah, I'm probably going to stick
Death
with
of Robin
Supergirl.
Hood, 19th of June
Oh,
as well.
there you go. He's
Leviticus,
oh,
19th of June. That's supposed to be a good horror film as well. That's meant to be good.
um,
So
yeah. So Death of
yeah.
Robin Hood. I've got that one. Supergirl, June the 25th, which is going to be in a couple of
Mm,
weeks' time. What, 10 days time? Less than that when this episode comes out, and I guess that's June, isn't it?
yeah. Yeah, so yeah, we've got a few things. Obviously, the World Cup's happening now, so we've still got that as well to keep us entertained.
Exactly. And in July we've got Evil Dead Burn, and we've got The
Yeah,
Odyssey.
yes, exactly. July's
Oh,
going to be good, and Spider Man towards the end of that
and
as well.
flipping Spider Man. All right,
Hmm.
okay. So listen, folks, keep it locked with the Flixters. We hope you enjoyed it, and remember, like, subscribe, do all that sort of stuff. Leave a review, and if you want to come on the show, just get in touch with us, and we'll more than happily have you on there.
Yep. Until next time, peace out.